Welcome to Portals of Perception and to a new adventure we call internal human orchestra work, which abbreviates to IHOW, which sounds like a Japanese word but is simply the abbreviation of internal orchestra work. I'm here with Beth, Rita, and Eleni. Welcome. So today we are about to frame the idea, do a brief introduction to this new adventure, and then invite the first practice that Rita, you will lead us through. And so let me begin by simply introducing what is the idea of internal human orchestra work. The key word, first key word is internal, which means we each have those dimensions we are exploring. The second key word is human. It's to do with human life. The guidance is in using the word orchestra, which clearly indicates that it is made out of many instruments. And the suggestion, the invitation is to appreciate that being human is living inside a fantastical, extraordinarily rich system, rich in capabilities, rich in inner members of an internal community or instruments of an orchestra. And so therefore, our premise is that living into your optimal well-being and strength and capacity is about bringing those different lives into an optimal coordination such that they flow and really enhance the music they each play and produce when they come together. So, by way of offering some language, let me bring a slide here and describe what we're truly exploring. So again, internal human orchestra work, IHOW. I can't get over the idea that this sounds like a Japanese word, but it also has this notion of how I and IHOW. How do I do me? How do you do you? And to lead us into the intent, we want to reflect on some of the challenges that people are grappling with anywhere in the world, all age groups. Challenges that we hope with internal human orchestra work to ease and release. The first one I'll highlight is the sense of disembodiment. So many people are on their devices today, especially young people, sometimes for many, many hours. And because they're on their devices, there's so much in their heads and forget to integrate the rest of the human orchestra, their body and their multifaceted human system. And because of that, and with that, many feel a sense of being disjointed and dispersed. And with those different internal members, different instruments in one's orchestra playing to a different tune, pulling, if you like, in a different direction, there is also the byproduct of being energetically depleted, exhausted, and fatigued. Many people are experiencing these. And by the way, with those, one of the other byproduct is a certain anxiousness. Many people are anxious because they are depleted, exhausted, fatigued, dispersed. And we want to, through the various practices we are about to bring, beginning with today with the first one, we want to find a way to ease and release some of these conditions. And also the reason that the experience we see with many, which because they are in a defense posture and feeling disjointed, for many what they do is they shrink down the possibility range. If you are a piano, instead of playing on the full 7 octaves of the piano that you are, many people play only on 2 octaves, the happy octave and the upset, frustrated octave. And we want to actually include a full range of possibility. And as a result of that, with many we see that sense, that feeling of being stuck, being trapped. So these are some of the challenges that people are grappling with. Anything you'd want to say to these, and before I bring on the other side of the slide some of the benefits we hope to create in the work we are about to generate?
So when I think about using my human orchestra, which is the whole thing, what goes on inside and what goes on outside, a lot of our programming is to listen to what's being said outside of us and not necessarily to tune into what's inside of us. And it's that balance between both, because you can't use your human orchestra if you're not actually in it. The other thing is, I was just listening to you and thinking about the moments where I tune into you and I tune out of what's happening in me, and that both can actually happen at the same time. We're just not used to practicing that. And our real energies come from when we listen inside and use what we have and broaden that to engage with what's outside of us. So I'd say that to start with.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Beth. So the recognition, so much of our lives in different settings, we are attuning to the outside, to some authority figure, to the boss, to the TV, to the news, to any other impulses coming from the outside, and those are important. They offer us guidance, information, and so on and so forth. But you're saying what we are about to explore here, in the way you're describing, Beth, is the capacity to tune in, sometimes to tune in, to let the outside signal fade, and sometime build this capacity of tuning both inside and outside, and hold those two attunements at the same time and bringing them into harmony. So you just brought us immediately into the deep end of this, which is great. Thank you very much. Let's see if, Rita, what would you want to offer here?
Well, something that today really highlighted itself to me was the aspect of feeling disjointed and dispersed. And like as I live, I become more and more aware that I am not just one thing. Often it can be a cause of contradiction that part of you wants one thing or enjoys one thing. Another part has completely different needs. And something that really has been for years and continues to be an ongoing practice and an endeavor to refine the ability to get all parts that constitute the me, whoever that is, to play each their instrument in harmony and in a mutual addition rather than depletion or cacophony. Like when several voices sing in harmony, it sounds so much more rich than, let's say, if you had 5 voices and you made them all sing exactly the same tune. If they sing in harmony, everyone's slightly different, but together in the same thing, it can be a whole different, enriching, resonant experience.
Indeed. So just to ground even, Rita, what you're saying with some more dimensionality of what it is we're talking about when we talk about the disjointed and or the well orchestrated together. At the simplest level, we are talking even at every cell in our body. It's fascinating that there is today new cutting-edge discoveries about how the cells are communicating. The latest science is that there is a little kind of a brain function in every cell. Every cell has its brain, its know-how, and one of the what cellular biology is discovering is that how do cells continue to adapt and change their internal processes in response to the environment reveals that there is a continual feedback loop between the cells and let alone between the organs. So it's not as though we have the kidney on one side and the liver somewhere else and the lungs somewhere else. Those systems, they continually generate a feedback loop and information sharing with each other as part of the humming of the human orchestra. We are also obviously bringing into it the energetic dimension of life and the discovery that the different layers, the different dimensions of energy, they flow in and through the physical, the biological instrument and fill the whole space that the human occupies. So we're talking about all that when we talk about the human orchestra, and the points you just made, Rita, is, well, when these parts, when they work together, they produce the kind of harmony that inducts more energy. When they work against each other in disharmony, they produce cacophonous outcome that is exhausting and depleting. So we're about to ease the way into a better orchestrated orchestra. Eleni, anything that you want to offer at this point?
Yes, one thing about the human orchestra is that we only have our human body. It's the only thing we have to deal with everything, with all the challenges that is happening. So always it depends how much of this balance and harmony you can bring to help you.
Well, that's right. We're given this instrument at birth, and when you say body, you mean the physical body and also the energetic dimension of that body. That's the tool we're given, and that's what we have to work with, and that's what we want to explore. So here are some of the additional benefits we intend to facilitate and enable. Well, we are looking to use the internal human orchestra work to enhance well-being and vitality in all its many dimensions and facets. And part of that is bringing together body, mind, and soul, and physical, magnetic, and electric. There are different dimensions of a life. And with that, improve balance and harmony to then foster resilience and intactness. Important dimensions of working with our human system, a human orchestra. And as a result of that, enhance flow and resourcefulness. And finally, use all those dimensions to help us better integrate polarities, because if you're going to show up for the day and you're going to engage with life, you will encounter polarities all the time. And the question is, how do we integrate polarities and facilitate enhanced connectedness as part of being human? So these are some of the benefits. Anything you'd speak to build on that, please?
Yes, just a little but important thing from my personal practice with integrating some of these inner lives is that it seems too simple to be true, but sometimes in 3 minutes, 5 minutes, it feels like before maybe going from one task to another, when you just feel like you need to come back home to yourself, it really can be so locating. There's the phrase being all over the place, and it literally feels like from a state of being all over the place, it's like, okay, the team is on board again. We are more ready to embark on what's next. So it's very practical, very simple.
So one of the ways of knowing if a person is in good well-being and able to handle better is to be able to feel your own flow and have a measure of your internal balance. As well, it reflects how you deal with other people and the harmony that you can build. So what goes on inside definitely allows what goes on outside. And some of these practices allow us to get there, but also to get there more quickly, because we go in and out of things a lot. And part of it is coming back to where you want to be in yourself to then be able to continue. Instead of being pulled over here or pulled over here, and it takes time to get back. So you also have increased focus with a better integration in your faculty.
Indeed. Anything to add here at this point, Eleni?
Yes, one of the things as well is to increase and enhance the flow. It's also the way that you trained your orchestra. It's also the way that you will things that you will allow inside and the things that you will not, and to be able to build more connectivity between yourself and the whole orchestra that there is, to be able to discover its secret.
And with those invitational words of discovering the secrets of the orchestra, let me remove the slide and invite that we begin with our first practice, and actually invite that we do a mini practice and the main practice, because Rita, you spoke about the simple practice of finding home base. So I would ask that you lead us through a simple finding home base, just as a transition to then a first practice, a first IHOW practice that we call locating the 3 octaves, which is about identifying and coming into contact with the 3 octaves that make us human. And you're going to lead us through that, and that's going to be the practice of today. So let me spotlight you and spotlight the 3 of you, and then we'll get going.
So, when you're ready, we're all standing up because that can give better freedom to move. But this can be done sitting down. You can do it in your mind or in small lying down. So this is not a fixed right or wrong way, but standing certainly can facilitate. So once you've found a space to stand in where you feel at ease, just take a couple of moments locating where you are in space, in the space that you occupy. And feel where your weight falls on your feet, steadily in contact with the floor. Feel how gravity holds you where you are. And feel the resilience of your lower limbs. You can bend your knees slightly and just feel how firmly you can be planted where you stand. And appreciate the whole stability of the lower body from your waist or from your pelvic structure down. Just feel the foundation that they provide. Next, bring your attention to your breathing. Feel the breath coming in and going out. You can use your hands and your arms, or you can put your hands on your chest and just appreciate the continuous flow of new air entering and leaving the body. And consider this whole middle part from the pelvic structure to the neck and shoulders. All the comings and goings from air to food to liquids. The continuous process of coming in, going out, and the metabolism that goes on. And you might find yourself finding your own movements, just to describe to yourself what that feels like. And then a different octave from your shoulders upwards, the head, and the energy fields above the head and outside of it. And yes, there is the brain inside the head, very important. But also there's a whole realm of connections. Think of things such as inspiration. You can't measure it. You can't touch it as such, but everyone has sometime known what inspiration feels like, or imagination, seeing something in your mind's eye. So in this practice, that is another octave, the octave of connections. So we're going to take a little journey to locate and feel the 3 octaves, the foundations, the process, and the connections. You can do it simply with movement. You could just feel the stability of the foundations using hand and arm movement to reinforce the feeling of it and the life of it. Also in the back, 360 degrees foundations. And the process. Again, you may find your own way to portray the constant processing that goes on and the connections. So that's the awareness and movement dimensions. You could add yet another dimension with words, qualities. If you wish to fortify and honor and strengthen these different octaves, either with something that you feel you want to make stronger in yourself. It already exists, but you just want to feed it and nourish it and make it even stronger. Or maybe qualities that you feel you badly need, but are not accessing it quite enough at this time. You can find your own words. I'm going to, as we move, speak out words as they come to me today, but feel free to find your own over time and practice with the words that you need, the qualities you want to call upon on any particular day. So as we locate the foundations, find the movement. Stable foundations. Resilient foundations. Reliable foundations. And moving up, connections. Rewrite this. Process. Jumping an octave. Process. Safe process. Nourishing process. Versatile process. Then a level up to connections. Seeking connections. Liberating connections. Enhancing connections. And you may want to just spend a moment or two appreciating the different natures of these 3 octaves as they all live in you.
Thank you very much, Rita. This was locating the 3 octaves: foundation, process, and connection. The 3 octaves that make us human. Come see and discover practice 2, where we seek to bring these 3 octaves into greater integration. Until next time. Along with our website at portalsofperception.org, Portals is also available on YouTube and on all podcast platforms, as well as social media. You can become an active member and join the conversation in community events. And you can help us get the word out by liking this content and by sharing it with your friends.